Hello and welcome back to the Brew Bowl. It's time for the semi-finals round wrap up. So let's have a look at how the game is going. So our two semi-final matches were quite a surprise to a lot of people, I believe. So our two lower seeded teams managed to win. So the Coatls beat the Hammerers. So that was the fifth place team versus beating the first place team from the original season. And the Gladiators beat the Slum City Blight, so the seventh place team beating the third place team. So great result for those two teams. Obviously that sets up a Gladiators Coatls final and a Hammerers Blight consolation final as well. Looking at the teams, the Ascalon Gladiators picked up Accurate on their thrower. No other real changes for them. So they've got all the teams have full teams going into the finals. So, yeah, more accurate thrower now for Hammer for his final match of the season. The Coatls, Pondo the Mads team, beating the Hammerers 1-0, picked up block on their Frenzy blocker. So, Spoon did observe during the match that the Lizardmen become really dangerous once you start getting a few skills onto their blockers. And that's certainly been the case. And, yeah, Pondo has used those guys expertly. He's also moved up now to the highest place in terms of dedicated fans, and is the only player to have a 4-game winning streak in both seasons of the Brew Bowl so far. Then we have the Hammerers. Big Spoon's team unfortunately lost to the Coatls 1-0. Will go through to the consolation final. He did pick up guard on Derek Thomason. I believe that he is going to swap one of his blitzers out for a second Troll Slayer, and that was sort of covered off in the role play at the end of the series, at the end of the episode as well. So yeah, disappointing result for Spoon, but he's still got the opportunity to play in the consolation final. And of course, the other team in the consolation final is the Slum City Blight, which is the Nemesis team. Picked up extra arms on Turkey Will Fork, and dedicated fans dropped down to 5, but no other real changes for the Blight after losing that match against the Gladiators 4-1. Looking at the players, not a lot of real changes here. So first off, Narepoli jumped from 5th place to 3rd place overall in completions, pushing Triple H and Thilo Schultz down to equal 4th. Moss Burner did add to his touchdown count, putting him up to 15, but still 3 short of the lead. He will still count any touchdowns scored in the consolation final against the Hammers, though, so it is still possible for Moss Burner to take the league overall top score. Although he did die in the last match, and Dynamis seems to maybe have been on the fence about whether to save him using his fledgling necromancer powers. I think he probably will, but there is a question mark hanging over Moss Burner's head. Other than that, just an extra casualty for Rain Lewis, and I think Derek Thomason moved up into equal 2nd place on the MVP list, with all the other players on 3 total MVPs, but no other real changes for the players in the leaderboard. So looking ahead to our 2 finals, the consolation final for 3rd place, 2 players generated this as a Slum City Blight home team against the Iron Hammerers away, which I would say is incorrect because I believe it should be the higher seed home. I'll have a talk to Dynamis and Big Spinner what they want to do. It matters more for Big Spinner, who's got the solid stone pitch, which would really lead to a lot of hurt goblins if we play on that one. So it's not yet certain which the home team will be, but I will talk to those guys. Looking at their stats, so the Blight dropped down from 10.1 to a total score of 9.4 in tour play, and the Hammerers dropped down from 12.2 to a total score of 11.8. So the numbers from tour play would seem to favour the Hammerers. It's tough to say. Like, obviously, they heavily favoured the Hammerers for the match against the Coatls, which the Coatls won. So sometimes, the numbers don't predict how the dice will go. Spoon will tell you he could not buy a good roll in that game against the Coatls. So if the dice abandon him, maybe it's 1 against the Blight. If the dice go, well and evenly, then maybe Spoon has the stronger team and those tackle pieces to really slow down those dodging goblins. But yeah, it's a hard one to call. I think I'm still going to go with the Hammerers in this match, but you never know, with the chaos that Damus creates, what could actually turn out. And of course, he will have inducements and likely a magic scroll as well to really cause some problems for the Hammerers once more. And then, of course, we have our grand final, which will be the Coatls versus the Gladiators. The Coatls stayed no change to their value at 7.5. The Gladiators actually went up from 8.7 last week to a score of 9.0 this week. So, yeah, the numbers do favour the Gladiators, being the 7th place team playing the 5th place team in the finals. But once again, dice can really mix things up. Early injuries can mix things up. Pondo has got 4 strength 4 or higher players. Fohammer has 2. He's not conceding as much inducements to Pondo as Spoon did, but I don't think we'll see Pondo bringing back that same guard block piece he was able to afford in the match versus the Dwarves. I think he's going to go about 65k worth of inducements, and I don't see Fohammer giving more away by spending petty cash. Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Both teams have reserves. Both teams really know how to sort of manage the other side. I know that Pondo has said that block is his kryptonite, but he's got block on more players now. He hasn't got tackle, though, so that's going to have a hard time to lock down some of those dodging Amazons, but he does also have the Croxagore with the prehensile tail that could really slow it down. So, you know, in the last 2 matches against the Coatls, I have gone against them, and I've been proven wrong. But I have to say, I still want to go with the Gladiators, in spite of the fact that Fohammer revealed this week that he broke his lucky Gladiators mug accidentally. So whether you believe in luck or not, that could be the tilting point. I don't. So I am going to go with the Gladiators in the finals, but I would happily be proven wrong as well. I think that Pondo's done a really great job, you know, going from, you know, what was a low point several games ago to a really high point now, playing in the grand final of this season. So good on him. Anyway, that is the end of the wrap up. We've got those 2 games to play. We've still got some nemesis matches to resolve as well, and already the players are starting to talk about what their season 3 teams are going to be, and whether we bring in more players and change up the NPCs. So do watch this space. There is more exciting action to come this way in the Brew Bowl, both this season and potentially the next season as well. So we look forward to seeing you for the finals, and then I will come back with one last wrap up after the finals are done. We will see you next time.